Vendor contracts can hide costs, deadlines, and obligations that small businesses often miss. This idea uses AI as a translation lens, turning dense agreements into plain English risks, key dates, and smarter questions before anyone signs. So far, you've screened ideas for demand, AI advantage, and build feasibility. We applied that lens to clinics, compliance deadlines, and proposal work. Now we'll use it for contract risk awareness before shifting next to SOP documentation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many small businesses sign contracts they only partly understand. The problem is not just the signature. It is the hidden clock, fee, obligation, or liability that shows up later, when the business has fewer options and much higher costs. Buyer personas are really pain profiles. Founders and owners feel risk as delay. They need fast confidence before signing. Finance managers feel it as exposure. Payment terms, renewals, penalties, and price increases can quietly damage budgets. Operations leads feel it as execution risk, where unclear service levels or vendor duties become daily problems. Office and admin managers feel it as control risk. Contracts exist somewhere, but reminders and visibility are weak. The strongest opportunity appears when one person owns the commitment, but has no practical review support. That is when contract issues become urgent enough to buy. For an MVP, the contract universe needs to be broad enough to feel useful, but narrow enough to summarize reliably. Start with common small business documents: vendor agreements, leases, SaaS terms, maintenance contracts, and subcontractor agreements. Then translate each document into risk categories. Date risks ask, what deadline could we miss? Financial risks ask, what could cost us money? Legal and operational risks ask, what obligations or limits should we notice? The goal is not to replace legal review. It is risk awareness, turning dense contracts into practical prompts a business owner can act on. The MVP should begin with one simple promise: a useful contract review from a single upload. The user provides a PDF, Word file, pasted text, or even a scanned image. The system turns that content into usable text, then identifies important clauses, parties, dates, obligations, renewal language, and unusual risks. The final output should not feel like legal jargon. It should provide a plain English summary, clear risk flags, deadline reminders, and practical questions for negotiation. Extra value comes from comparing the contract against the user's own rules, such as rejecting auto-renewal beyond 12 months. The journey should feel like a business briefing, not a legal chore. The user uploads a contract and chooses the type, because a lease, a SaaS agreement, and a vendor contract need different lenses. From there, the product asks only essential follow-up questions, such as location, renewal terms, or preferred contract length. Then it turns the document into decisions: key summary, risks, important dates, obligations, and negotiation prompts. Finally, the user can export the report, share it with the team, or hand it to an expert for deeper review. The contract risk brief is the product promise made concrete. It turns a dense agreement into 4 business decisions. What am I agreeing to? When do I need to act? What could hurt me? And what should I ask before signing? The summary gives orientation. Dates create accountability. Risk flags prioritize attention without creating panic. Questions turn analysis into action. The key is trust. Plain English, severity labels, enough context to support decisions, and a clear reminder that this is not legal advice. Good output reduces uncertainty, not just document length. Risk scoring becomes much more useful when it reflects the business's own rules. A 36-month term may be acceptable for one company, but risky for another that prefers 12 months. The same logic applies to auto-renewal, net 60 payment, liability caps, or cancellation notice. The AI compares each clause against those preferences, then flags the gaps. Transparency matters here. Users should not just see high risk, they should see why. Too long, auto-renewal included, payment delayed, or liability above the preferred cap. Templates can make this faster for different business types. For an MVP, clause detection should not try to understand every legal nuance. It should focus where pain is most common and most costly. Auto-renewals matter because missed notice windows quietly lock customers in. Fees matter because normal usage can become unexpected expense. Indemnity and liability language may appear less often, but it can create outsized exposure. Obligations and service levels connect promises to consequences. Who must do what, by when, and what happens if they fail. This creates a practical risk map. Prioritize clauses by frequency, severity, and actionability. A reliable contract summarizer is a pipeline, not a clever chat box. First, the system turns messy PDFs and scans into clean, segmented clauses. Then it extracts structured facts: parties, dates, payment terms, obligations, and exact clause references. Only after that should the AI reason about risk, using business rules and user preferences to explain what matters in plain English. The trust layer is traceability. Every warning, summary, or recommendation should point back to the source text, so users can verify the conclusion instead of blindly accepting it. Positioning matters because contract AI sits close to regulated legal work. The safest framing is a business review assistant. It helps users understand documents faster by surfacing dates, obligations, unusual terms, and possible negotiation points. It should not promise legal approval, legal safety, contract validity, or attorney-grade judgment unless a licensed professional is actually involved. Make the boundary explicit with plain disclaimers. Informational summary, not legal advice. Then design an escalation path. Users should be able to export a report, share it with counsel, or request expert review when the stakes are high. The business model should match how often customers face contract risk. Occasional users may prefer pay-per-document pricing. Active operators may need subscriptions or review bundles that make costs predictable. As usage grows, team plans create stronger value through shared libraries, renewal tracking, approvals, and permissions. The AI review also creates a natural upsell path. Handle first-pass triage instantly, then route high-risk or complex documents to a lawyer or specialist. Partner channels can expand reach by meeting small businesses where trust already exists, through accountants, brokers, co-working spaces, legal networks, and advisors. The key is to test willingness to pay before locking pricing. The safest launch path is a narrow wedge. Pick one contract category, such as SaaS subscriptions for agencies or vendor agreements for local businesses. Then validate the pain before writing too much code. Interview buyers about missed renewals, surprise fees, confusing terms, and who owns the process today. For the MVP, use a concierge model. Review contracts manually, with AI support, and deliver structured reports. Over 30 days, look for real evidence. Sample contracts collected, pilot reports delivered, pricing tested, repeat usage, time saved, risks found, and renewals captured. The core lesson is that strong AI products start with recurring pain and clear boundaries. For vendor contracts, the value is awareness. Summaries, risk flags, dates, obligations, preferences, and better questions before decisions are made. Keep the positioning precise. Decision support, not legal advice. Next, we'll apply the same thinking inside the business with SOP building.